Okay, this is me explaining to you what the OSI model does. The OSI model is a conceptual device used to understand what networking is, and it divides networking into 7 layers, quote unquote, and that's how it works. So, first layer, physical. This is pretty simple. If you have a one-to-one connection, the way you transmit data is using cables, and it deals with media, signal, and binary transmission. So if you have like a thingy here and a thingy here, you want to transmit data, you connect the cable, and then, that happens. It transmits data. And data is in the form of bits, ones and zeros. And it's either on or off, and that's how physical works. That's the simplest layer to understand because, it's just ones and zeros, and physical is the only hardware thing. Second layer, data link. It's one up from physical. This has 2 sublayers into it, which is MAC and LLC. The data link layer, so physical, is a one-to-one connection. And in reality, there are more than one connections, right? So this node here, there's like another one going here, another one going here. And this needs to decide, okay, well, which one am I going to? And there's a device called a switch which does that, and that deals in the data link layer. So a switch assigns, switches which one you can go here, here, here. And that's what the MAC address is. So the MAC layer, it assigns each node a MAC address. And it makes it much easier to, tell, instead of this one, it gives them a unique address. And the LLC deals with the next layer, which is a network, and it makes sure everything is in the same communication. So MAC address makes sure everyone has a name, and LLC makes sure everyone's on the same page when it comes to transmitting data. And it also deals with physical addressing, and in the data link, the data is in frames. So bits, many bits stored in a thing that's going and switching and doing all that, called frames. There's 2 sublayers. The next layer, network layer. This layer is pretty self-evident. Instead of just local communication with switching, now the network layer deals with, there's a remote area here. Routers deal with the network area, with the network layer, and routers transmit data across distances. And in here, networks are called packets. Routers transmit data through packets. They take frames, make into packets. And in addition to MAC addresses, the network layer assigns each node an IP address. So they both have 2 names, a MAC address and IP address. And that's how the router knows which one to communicate, right? Because it makes everything much easier. And the network layer deals with path determination. That's what routers do. They determine which path to take in order to get to a remote area. And like I said before, logical addressing. The next layer, segment, aka, not segment, my bad, transport layer. I know why I said segment. Well, I do know why I said segment. Because the data here, from bits, frames, packets, now segments. Yeah. the transport layer makes sure that when you're communicating on the network layer, all of the packets, they're sent in segments now. And it makes sure there is end-to-end connection and reliability. And there are two versions of transport. There's TCP and UDP. And they're basically different protocols to ensure end-to-end connection. There are two different methods to ensure end-to-end connection. The next layer is the session layer. And here, it is in the form of data. So data is now finally called data. Session is similar to transport, but another layer up and make sure that two nodes, there's interhost communication between two nodes. It's similar to transport. Next layer, presentation. Presentation. This also, data, is in the form called data here. The last three, the uppermost layers, are called data layers. This deals with presentation of data. It's very, very important. It basically ensures that when it's going up to the final layer, that all the data is in the correct format, and so like the user can see it correctly. Because the physical layer all the way down here, it's in ones and zeros. And by the time it gets to your eyes, it has to be in actual words and stuff, right? So that's presentation. This also deals with encryption. So like, we have two thingies here, right? And this has something to say. The presentation layer gargles it up, mixes it up, sends it here encrypted. This guy has a key, and the presentation layer makes sure that it's encrypted, it gets it here, and the key correctly presents it to the end user. That's what the presentation layer is. And the final layer, application. I think I spelled that right. This also, data. Yeah, this is what us humans look at. So like, I'm in Microsoft Paint right now, if you can't tell. This deals with the application layer. If I go to Microsoft Word, or I go to Google, that also deals with the application layer. It is the result of all the previous layers, like the physical circuitry in my computer, the switches and routers in my home doing all the transmitting data to me, all of that ends up in the application layer. This, it basically, end user stuff, like all the applications that deal with networking uses. Yeah, that's the OSI model.